I sent my own parents to prison for 15 years to protect my kids, and I don't regret it. They called me a traitor, but I chose my children over silence, shame, and generational abuse. Here's what really happened. I'm not proud of what I did. I don't tell this story to feel better about myself or to get sympathy. I tell it because I need to say it out loud, and maybe someone out there will understand. Maybe someone's been through something similar. I don't know. But here it is. My name's Daniel. I'm 42 years old. I live in Oregon now with my wife and our 2 kids, Emma and Caleb. They're 12 and 10. Good kids. Marco. They've been through more than they should have, and I try every day to give them a normal life. But there's no such thing as normal when you've done what I've done. I grew up in Ohio. Small town, nothing special. My parents, Richard and Susan, were well known in the community. Church every Sunday, PTA meetings, bake sales. My dad ran a small construction business, and my mom worked part-time at the library. From the outside, we looked like the kind of family you'd want to be part of. But behind closed doors, it was different. My parents were strict. Not just about rules, but about control. Everything had to be done their way. I wasn't allowed to have friends over. I wasn't allowed to go to sleepovers. If I got a B on a test, I'd be grounded for a week. If I talked back even a little, my dad would take off his belt. My mom never stopped him. Sometimes she'd join in. I learned early on to keep my mouth shut and do what I was told. I moved out at 18. Got a job at a warehouse, saved up, went to community college. Met Rachel when I was 23. She was different, gentle, patient. She listened when I talked. We got married 2 years later. I didn't invite my parents to the wedding. They showed up anyway. My dad gave a speech about how I was finally becoming a man. Rachel didn't understand why I looked so tense the whole night. We had Emma first, then Cale. I swore I'd be a different kind of father. I read parenting books, went to therapy, tried to unlearn everything I'd been taught. Rachel helped. She came from a loving family. Her parents were warm, supportive. I wanted that for my kids. For a while, things were good. We lived in a modest house in Dayton. I worked in logistics. Rachel taught 2nd grade. We had routines, pancakes on Saturdays, movie nights on Fridays. The kids were happy. I thought I'd escaped the past. Then my parents started showing up again. It started with phone calls. My mom would call Rachel, ask about the kids. My dad would leave voicemails saying he wanted to patch things up. I told Rachel not to respond. She didn't understand. She said people change. I said some people don't. Eventually they came to the house. Unannounced. My dad said he wanted to see his grandchildren. My mom brought toys. I told them to leave. Rachel said I was being harsh. I told her she didn't know what they were capable of. They kept coming. Sometimes when I was at work. Rachel let them in. She said they were polite, that the kids seemed to like them. I started getting anxious. I told Rachel everything, about the beatings, the manipulation, the fear. She was shocked. She said she'd never seen that side of them. I told my parents to stay away. They didn't listen. My dad said I was being dramatic. My mom said I was ungrateful. They started showing up at Emma's school, at Caleb's soccer games. Always smiling, always pretending to be the perfect grandparents. Then things got worse. Emma started having nightmares. Caleb stopped talking at school. Rachel said maybe it was just a phase. I knew better. I asked Emma what was wrong. She said Grandpa yelled at her. Said she was stupid for not knowing how to tie her shoes. Caleb said Grandma pinched him when he spilled juice. Rachel was horrified. She said she'd never seen it happen. I said they knew how to hide it. I went to the police. They said unless there was physical evidence, there wasn't much they could do. I tried to get a restraining order. The judge said there wasn't enough cause. I felt helpless. Then one day, I came home early from work. Rachel was out grocery shopping. The kids were supposed to be at home with a babysitter. I walked in and saw my dad sitting on the couch, watching TV. My mom was in the kitchen, making sandwiches. The babysitter was gone. I lost it. I told them to get out. My dad stood up, got in my face. Said I was being disrespectful. Said he had every right to see his grandchildren. I told him if he ever came near them again, I'd call the cops. He laughed. That night, I sat down with Rachel. I told her we had to do something. She agreed. We started documenting everything. Photos of bruises, recordings of conversations, written statements from the kids. I talked to a lawyer. He said it would be hard but not impossible. Then Emma told me something that changed everything. She said Grandpa had touched her. Not just yelled. Not just pinched. Touched her. I felt something inside me break. I took her to a therapist. Then to a doctor. Then to the police. This time, they listened. There was an investigation. Interviews. Evidence. It came out that my dad had been doing it for months. My mom knew. She helped cover it up. Told Emma not to tell anyone. Said it was just a game. I gave the police everything. Every photo, every recording, every statement. I testified in court. So did Rachel. So did Emma. My parents were sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. People in town were shocked. Some said I was brave. Others said I was a traitor. My own relatives stopped talking to me. Said I should have handled it within the family. I didn't care. I saved my kids. But it cost me everything. After the sentencing, we moved. Packed up everything and left Ohio behind. Rachel found a teaching job in Oregon, and I got work in supply chain management. We bought a small house in a quiet neighborhood. No one knew our story. No one asked questions. That was the point. The kids were quiet for a long time. Emma stopped drawing. Caleb had trouble sleeping. Rachel and I tried to keep things normal, school, routines, family dinners, but there was a heaviness in the house. Like something had settled into the walls. I didn't know how to get rid of it. I went back to therapy. Rachel did too. We found a child psychologist for the kids. It helped, slowly. Emma started drawing again, mostly animals, sometimes people. Caleb started talking more. He made a friend at school. I remember the first time he laughed out loud again. It was over something silly, a cartoon I think. I cried in the kitchen so he wouldn't see. I didn't talk about my parents. Not to Rachel, not to the kids, not to anyone. I didn't want their names in my house. I didn't want their memory in my children's heads. But it wasn't that simple. Trauma doesn't care about silence. It finds ways to show up. Emma had a panic attack at a sleepover. Caleb flinched when a teacher raised her voice. Rachel and I had arguments, about parenting, about boundaries, about how to move forward. She said I was too strict. I said she was too lenient. We were both scared. We didn't want to mess up. We didn't want to become them. One night, Emma asked me why Grandma and Grandpa weren't around anymore. I froze. She was 9. I didn't know what to say. I told her they hurt people and that they weren't safe. She asked if they hurt her. I said yes, just why. I said I didn't know. She cried. I held her. I didn't have answers. Caleb asked a few weeks later. He was younger, didn't remember as much. I told him the same thing. He said he was glad they were gone. I said me too. Rachel and I made a decision. We wouldn't lie to them, but we wouldn't tell them everything until they were older. They deserved the truth, but they also deserved peace. Childhood. Safety. We'd give them that first. I still think about my parents. Not every day, but often enough. I wonder what they tell themselves in prison. I wonder if they blame me. I wonder if they ever feel regret. I doubt it. They were always good at rewriting reality. Sometimes I dream about them. Not nightmares, just strange, quiet dreams. My dad sitting at a table, staring. My mom folding laundry. Nothing happens. I wake up feeling cold. I don't talk to my extended family anymore. Cousins, aunts, uncles, they cut me off after the trial. Said I destroyed the family. Said I should have forgiven. I don't miss them. Rachel's family became our family. Her parents visit often. They bring gifts, play with the kids, help around the house. They never ask about the past. They just love. It's strange, sometimes, to be around that kind of warmth. I'm still learning how to accept it. Emma's 12 now. She's strong. She speaks up when something feels wrong. She's in therapy, and she's starting to understand what happened. She asks hard questions. I answer them even when it hurts. Caleb's 10. He's funny, curious, sensitive. He hugs me for no reason. He says I'm the best dad in the world. I try to believe him. Rachel and I are still together. We've been through hell. We've had moments where we didn't know if we'd make it. But we did. We're not perfect, but we're honest. We fight fair. We listen. We forgive. I don't regret what I did. I regret that it had to be done. I regret that my children had to live through it. But I don't regret saving them. People ask me sometimes, how could you send your own parents to prison? I say, because they stopped being parents a long time ago. Because blood doesn't mean safety. Because silence is a kind of violence. I tell them I chose my kids. And I'd do it again. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this.